Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, my mother thinks she's entitled to alcohol at my wedding. Update: my mother thinks she's entitled to alcohol at my wedding. My mother low-key spoilt my wedding. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My mother thinks she's entitled to alcohol at my wedding. My fiancé, 35M, and I, 33NB, are getting married in 2 weeks in our backyard. We will be having a catering speed for our reception afterwards. We decided to have a dry wedding for 2 reasons. My mom is an alcoholic who is known for making a scene when she gets drunk, and my fiancé has a brother who binge drinks and has had alcohol poisoning on more than one occasion. He doesn't drink all the time, but if he starts, he can't stop until he either passes out or someone physically restrains him from getting more. I also have an uncle, mom's brother, and a stepdad who are in recovery and don't need the temptation. Neither fiancé and I are big drinkers, so we decided to just avoid any problems and just have a dry wedding. We will have a less dry reception party/honeymoon with some our friends later on. All of our families have been supportive. My uncle was especially grateful to us for doing this since he takes his recovery very seriously and has been 7 years sober. I sent out wedding invitations 4 months ago and said it would be a dry wedding and asked people not to bring alcohol. Now today, I get this call from my mom, who I also sent an invitation to 4 months ago. Mom, is it true you're not having alcohol at your wedding? Me, yes. Fiancé and I decided we didn't want alcohol during our special time. Mom, that's so silly. It's going to make your wedding boring. Me, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but fiancé and I have made our decision. We want everyone to feel comfortable at our wedding. Mom, clearly, you don't care about my comfort. What if I want to have a little drink to pass the time? Me, like you did at a different uncle's wedding where you got so drunk and made a horrible scene calling uncle's wife a gold digger? Mom, it wasn't my fault. They made the drinks there too strong. Me, right, I really wish you would address this need to have alcohol wherever you go. Mom, I don't need to have alcohol. I just think your wedding will be boring without it. You want to have a fun wedding, don't you? Me, it will be a fun wedding. We don't need alcohol to have fun. Mom, this is so stupid. Why should everyone else be punished just to make it comfortable for a few people? It seems like you care more about uncle and stepdad than anyone else. Me, or maybe I just want to avoid any scenes. Mom, I just told you, that wasn't my fault. Me, just like your DUI isn't your fault? Mom, how dare you bring up that difficult time in my life? I was going through a lot emotionally. What the hell is wrong with you kids? You need to mind your own business. If I want to drink, that's my business. Me, well, my wedding is my business. We do not want alcohol there. That's final. I can't stop you if you decide to pregame my wedding, but I've already made it clear to uncles and brothers that if you cause a scene, that you are to be made to leave. Mom starts crying. Why do you kids hate me so much? What did I ever do to deserve to be treated like this by my children? Me, are you really ready for me to go down that list? Mom, none of you understand. None of you will ever understand. I'm the mother of the bride. I should be treated better than this. Me, I think I treated you pretty well during this process. I've acquiesced to your boyfriend, whom I don't even know, coming to my wedding. I've even given in to some of your other demands. So please tell me how you've been mistreated? Mom, you didn't invite me to go dress shopping. The mother of the bride always goes dress shopping with her daughter. I barely know, fiancé, because you never bring him around me. How do I know that you're marrying the right person? Me, that's because Aunt made my dress. Mom, sarcastically, well, isn't that just special? Me, sighing as for the rest, I think you know why. We aren't really close enough for you to have any say in who my significant other is. Honestly, Mom, I'm done with this conversation. If you really feel that strongly about this, I'll understand if you don't want to attend my wedding. Mom, I'd bet you'd like that, wouldn't you? One way or another you will respect me as your mother. Me, sure, Mom. I'm hanging up now. Bye. Guys, I'm so livid right now. I have half a mind to uninvite her. I spoke to my dad and her brother. My uncle thinks her drinking is getting really bad again and has been wanting to hold an intervention. I told him I'm focused on the wedding right now, but that I definitely agree this was out of line and something needs to be done. What do I do? I don't want her ruining my wedding, but I'm so tired of dealing with this. Sorry, this is probably above Reddit's pay grade, but I just needed to vent. Update: I sent a text reiterating the rules. She said she knows where she isn't welcome and said she won't attend. My dad told me not to worry about this anymore and that he'll see to it she doesn't ruin my wedding. Update 2: I sent this text to my mom. Mother, at this point I'm going to officially uninvite you from my wedding. I'm not going to allow you to change your mind, and I'd prefer it if you not come to my wedding at all given your poor behavior. At this point, I've decided I don't want any further contact with you unless you decide to curb your toxic behaviors and drinking. I wish you the best. I hope you can find a way to heal, but I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry if this hurts you, but I can't handle you in my life anymore. If you try to force the issue, I'll be forced to take legal action up to and including contacting law enforcement. Please don't contact me again. I went to delete her from my Facebook page only to find a post that she had just written saying how being a mother is a thankless job and how she doesn't understand how she raised rude and judgmental kids. She ended it by saying she hopes her kids get over themselves someday. I'm done. This sucks, but it's been a long time coming. My head hurts. I'd lay down the law with her and uninvite her if she won't accept that she needs to be sober while she's there. Have somebody who is willing and able to eject her if, when, she sneaks alcohol in and gets drunk anyway. That's what I'm thinking. Her own brothers are saying they will eject her if she even causes a scene. My youngest uncle, whose wedding she ruined by causing a scene, made me a vow that he will not allow what happened at his wedding to happen at mine. My brothers, her own kids, despise her, so they said if she even breathes wrong, they will make sure she leaves. You may want to hire a little security. Not a lot, but if she is going to cause a scene or if she shows up drunk, it is probably best to have professionals escort her out so no one else at the wedding has a bad time or gets the aggression directed at them. I'm sorry you are dealing with this, and best of luck to you. I have an alcoholic MIL who thought she was entitled to alcohol at my wedding, so I feel you. My uncles and my brothers are not small people and they said they will act as security. HM. If a family gathering for such a special event is too boring for her without drink, it's best she avoid boredom by going to a bar instead of your wedding. Update: my mother thinks she's entitled to alcohol at my wedding. Click if you need to get caught up on the saga of my alcoholic mother. I didn't think I'd be back so soon, but it's my mom's world and we all just live in it. My mother got 911 called on her for domestic violence on Tuesday. She apparently started throwing wine bottles at her boyfriend, who locked himself in the bathroom and called the cops while she destroyed their place in one of her temper tantrums. She wasn't making any sense when the cops got there, so they restrained her and took her to a hospital. She's been stuck in the psychiatric ward ever since. My sister was listed as a contact for her and she got the call about Mom on Wednesday. The doctors at the hospital spoke to my sister and they think she may be showing signs of alcohol-related dementia and some sort of psychotic disorder like bipolar disorder. They currently have her in alcohol detox, and from what my sister was told, it's pretty bad. They won't allow her visitors until she's out of detox, not that anyone really has a desire to visit her anymore. My sister and I decided enough was enough and we've petitioned a guardianship for her yesterday at the request of a social worker who interviewed my sister, my uncles, my grandparents, and myself. A guardianship means they can hold her while it winds through the system rather than her being released after 72 hours. My grandmother's upset as she thinks all of the issues should be kept in the family and the state shouldn't step in. My uncles and grandfather are on the side of having a guardianship. As far as they're concerned, she's not welcome in the family anymore and they won't allow her to continue to take advantage of anyone in the family anymore. My sister and I say let her be a professional's problem and let them figure out what to do with her. My brothers don't care and have effectively washed their hands of her years ago, so their stance is whatever keeps her as far away as humanly possible. We can't deal with her anymore, and why should we? With the guardianship petitioned, I'm working on washing my hands of this situation entirely. I'm sure I'll be interviewed about why a guardianship is necessary, but other than that, I don't plan to have any further contact with my mom unless she apologizes and makes amends for her behavior, if that's something she's even capable of anymore. I just don't see that happening, and any compassion or understanding I had for her in the past is gone. Whatever state her life is in, she brought it on herself. I just want to move on with my life without her in it and be done with her for good. It doesn't look like she'll be released from the hospital anytime soon, so there's no risk of her attending my wedding. I did talk to her boyfriend yesterday after sister and I filed our paperwork, and we decided to invite him to lunch. He's decided to break up with her for good, and we learned just how bad things were with her. He's a real nice guy who's been caught up in a bad situation and had no clue how bad she could be. I feel really bad for him. I did decide to invite him to my wedding as I can tell he's a lonely dude who's been to hell and back. Not sure he'll show, but the offer is there. There was a time I'd have allowed an event like this to ruin the run-up to the wedding, but I've been able to separate my mom's behavior from the wedding. It hasn't put a damper on it. Now that my mom is squared away, I can enjoy myself. I just put the final touches on the catering order and am expecting the last of my supplies. My aunt wants to put the final touches on my wedding attire. If I haven't mentioned, both fiancé and I are huge steampunk fans, and so we're wearing steampunk attire and encouraging everyone else to dress in steampunk, not required though. My wedding dress is actually more of a suit situation, but it looks badass. I don't think I'll update again as I want to put all of this behind me, and I don't plan to have any contact with my mother going forward. I'm looking forward to a bright future with my husband. My mom can stay in the past, and as cold and heartless as it sounds, I'm glad she's not going to be my family's problem anymore. Best wishes for your future. I hope it is mom drama free. You did the right thing separating yourself from the situation, and it's nice you reached out to the boyfriend. That would serve your mom right if you ditch your mom and keep her ex-boyfriend. If this isn't rock bottom, I don't know what is. Sometimes, family isn't the best person to handle a situation, especially with an addict. Well-meaning family can inadvertently enable the addict, and it sounds like the biggest enabler has been grandma. You and your sister did the right thing to ask for a guardian. You need to focus on yourself and the bright future you have ahead of you. You're absolutely doing the right thing. Her problems are not your problems. I hope you have a fab wedding day. My mother low-key spoilt my wedding. So, there's a lot of context leading up to the drama which I'll do my best to sum up, but basically, me and my partner decided to have a child-free wedding and my brother and mother were absolutely horrified. Told me I was ripping the family apart, etc., ruined my engagement, the whole shebang. Fast forward a few months and my brother has largely moved on and my mother is trying her best but still has an occasional strop about it. Now, the day before my wedding, all hell breaks loose. My other brother, who bless him is the only person who didn't upset me during the planning of the wedding, calls me and says he has COVID. We have a number of vulnerable people coming and can't risk anyone getting ill. I'm really close to him and devastated he can't come. I call my mother in tears, and instead of reassuring me that the wedding will still be lovely or anything like that, she admits the wedding will be shit and is largely upset about all the food she's bought that will now go to waste. So I'm furious and we argue. She insinuates that everyone thinks less of me because of the whole child-free shit. She then essentially emotionally blackmails me into inviting my sister-in-law and young niece because if I don't she won't have anyone to talk to. I said I was glad I was going to become a member of a different family, not my finest moment admittedly, but I'd reached the end of my tether. Skip to the evening, I'm heading to my mother's for the night with my maid of honor. I call my mother to let her know we're on our way and she's hammered she can barely string a sentence together. We arrive and I have to look after her, my MOH makes us dinner, we have to collect the flowers without her and neither of us drive. I'm trying to sober her up all the while she's phoning and messaging her friends telling them that my wedding is a disaster. Lovely. I'm so angry by this point I can barely keep it together. The wedding day arrives and, all things considered, was absolutely wonderful. My mother barely spoke to me and we haven't spoken properly since the wedding about 3 weeks ago. No apology, nothing. The kicker is that her response to my brother when he said how hurt I am was to say we're both hurt. So there's a better chance of hell freezing over than her actually taking responsibility for her actions. I'm at a loss here in how to move forward. I don't want to speak to her first because I know she won't apologize, but I don't think I can just brush this under the carpet. Am I overreacting? Not wrong. Your mother will always be the most important person anywhere, according to her. You either need to live with it or block her. Yep. This is drop the rope time. And don't pick it back up no matter how many times she tries to hand it to you. Your mom is an emotional terrorist. And you just can't negotiate with her. Yes. It took me 35 years to realize my mother only loved and cared for herself. She always kept me close, manipulating and getting things her way and tossing me crumbles to keep me happy. After I uncovered a huge lie she told me and used on me for 13 years, I decided to go and see. Best year of my life so far. I am living a light, happy life. I wouldn't have caved into allowing a child because it would ruin it for others who had to leave their kids at home. If she said it was gonna be shut, okay, that's another person off the guest list and who everyone will know she chose to stay home because you were having a wedding for you, not her. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.